Hello again and welcome back. In this section, we're going to talk about session management, and this is associated to Privileged Session Manager or PSM. We're going to quickly recap what we had discussed in the overview and introduction sections just to make sure we are on the same page. So, the reason why we do or worry about PSM is it serves three purposes. The first one being isolating privileged sessions, controlling privileged sessions, and monitoring privileged sessions. So, talking about isolation in more details, isolation helps to protect sensitive systems from being infected by malware. What do I mean by that is this. So, let's say I have a laptop from which I connect, and this is my end server. So, let's say this is my DC, and I wanted to connect it through my local admins, right? Sorry, a domain admin. And here's my vault where the credentials are stored. All right. So when I initiate a session to the vault via PVWA, I will fetch the credentials for the DC account that I need to log in, and that access is proxied out through PSM, and PSM would transparently connect me to DC. Now, what happens behind the scene is that if my system gets compromised through a malware, if I were to be directly connecting from my system to the DC, the infection may propagate to this and infect my critical assets. So PSM helps to break this chain or break this connection and proxy out and act man in the middle and ensure that all the connections are passed through it so that it can inspect them and break this chain of perimeter of access and stop this malware from spreading. All right. So that is the first feature where it helps to isolate sensitive targets from endpoints. The next feature is control. Now, what do you mean by this? So I can create specific policies. So even if Max, which is out here, is authorized to access this DC, I can say that Max cannot delete any files that are located under C drive Windows. Let's say this is just an example. Or let's say C drive secure wire. So anything that is under here, Max cannot delete or modify. Anything else, as an admin, he can take care of that. The minute Max takes a PSM session and tries to, let's say, delete one of the files in this folder, Max would get an error stating that he's not authorized to execute those commands. All right. So in short, even if a user is authorized to log in as a domain admin or any super admin, CyberArk's PSM access policies can help you to restrict specific commands so that it's very dangerous, right, to execute deletion or modification on critical files and sensitive accounts. So I can very well prevent that. And this I can expand even for Unix devices to prevent certain execution of commands. So even I can do that for Cisco devices like erase or prevent users from actually issuing this command right to save configurations and stuff. So I'm just making stuff up here. So you can create these policies and apply, and on the fly, if a suspicious administrator tries to execute these commands, they would be blocked. The next great feature about session management is monitoring, where all the sessions that Max has out here with the DC, if you so desire, you can log these as video files, as we have discussed, and text files, and also various log files that you can send out to SIM or any other syslog server. You can have this recording and log file written out with zero impact on the target. So there's no agent, there's no software, there's no API, nothing that actually touches the target systems. So your CPU memory resources are not ever increased. So PSM takes care of its own. And if you so desire, you can monitor these at real time. So when today, if Max is on this DC at the moment, somebody from my SOC can open up CyberArk in real time, in near real time, can view what Max is doing right at the moment. So they can terminate his session if he's trying to do any unauthorized commands or execute out any scripts and things like that. So these are the three cool features that PSM provides through session management. To briefly talk about how it all works, we already saw this in the main slides or in the previous overview sections. But just to recap, PSM, the first step, the user logs into PVWA, obtains an RDP over SSL session that makes the user connect to the PSM box. PSM uses its gateway account to fetch the credentials that are desired by this user. It does not pass to the user, but in turn takes these credentials and transparently logs into the systems that the user wants to log in. Now, when the session is initiated to the target systems, a user is prompted out the warning stating that the session is being recorded, and PSM transparently stores that recording into the vault later. So we'll go ahead and prep our environment for session management, and we're going to look at it in more details.